to the middle school special education students of Hayward Unified School District. And Miss Leticia Frazier Bond has demonstrated outstanding dedication to serving our students with autism and those in her class. Alongside her compassionate paraeducators, she has gone above and beyond her job description, leading to significant improvements in her students' well-being. And whereas this commitment is supported by the school principal and administration, led by Ms. Lisa Tess, who is proactive and dedicated to ensuring the special day class students receive the care and support they need to thrive. Notably, Winton Middle School was the first school in HUSD to raise an autism awareness flag in April and pioneered a successful student assembly for autism awareness. And whereas Fearless Path, previously Twinkies Crafts, was founded in 2014 by Rhea Lancaster when she created an online craft store called Twinkies Crafts on Etsy.com, where she made crafts to promote autism awareness. Whereas Miss Lancaster has donated 75% of the proceeds to support Lucille Packard Children's Hospital where her son was diagnosed with autism. Now, therefore, I, Mark Salinas, Mayor of the City of Hayward, do hereby proclaim April 2nd, 2025 as Autism Awareness Day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give everyone a big round of applause. Pincialotti. Did I say it right? Okay. Thank you for giving me the grace. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. I hit it again. Red means go here.
Going to thank you. Thank you, Mayor and council members, Ms. Lonnie. On behalf of the autism community, HUSD Special Education Advocacy Group, Winton Middle School, and Ms. Lisa Tess, and our supporters, I am honored to accept this proclamation recognizing April as Autism Awareness Month, and April 2nd as Autism Awareness Day for the city of Hayward. This proclamation represents such a major accomplishment and sends a powerful message of inclusion and compassion, reminding us of the importance of understanding, supporting, and celebrating individuals with autism. The parents have worked so hard for their children to be recognized and providing tools for all to become more aware of people with autism. It has been an honor for us as teachers, principals, family engagement specialists, and board members to join in and advocate for such important people in our community. People such as Dominic, who loves to be seen and hear people calling his name, Ariana, who loves affection, Diego, who just wants to have a conversation with someone, Xavier, who loves to recite books, and Sabrina, who's sitting over here, who loves to cheerlead and give her voice a loud sound for all of us to hear. Don't we all just want to be seen and included? Because of the efforts of many, this is now possible. Thank you for joining in our efforts as a city and making our children feel valued and supported. Thank you for allowing our children to see how they fit into this big puzzle. We are grateful. Together, we can continue building a city where people of all abilities are seen, heard, and valued. Thank you for your continued commitment to awareness, acceptance, and meaningful change. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, HUSD board members, Superintendent, Special Education Affinity Group, and members of the public. A great day for the families of neurodiverse children. By the way, my name is Princess Erebo, sorry about that, from HUSD Parent Ambassador. A proclamation is an official intentional statement. It gives the public the official announcement of what needs to be done moving forward. By this, it gives us not only the reflection of what is to come, but how actionable it will take. This began as a thought, an idea by a parent named Mr. Anthony, and organized by Ms. Lani and I by connecting other parents to come to the table, which was finally pushed forward by Mr. Peter Povete, the HUSD board president. You know the rest of the story. Please, let's not put this proclamation on the wall. Let's act on it. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Jessica Pinciolotti, and I'm with Autism Yesterday and Today. We're a nonprofit foundation dedicated to bring a technology and special education and bring awareness to our communities about special needs. We have been active for about 10 years. We have provided over $100,000 to public schools, including one here in Hayward. Last year, we did a beautiful mural for our community in Fremont. It's a mural that brings autism awareness, and it's in a public park. We would love to do something like that here in Fremont. Here in Hayward. And also, we have talked to some of your colleagues about maybe doing some electric boxes that bring autism awareness. So we're hoping, that we can move forward with something like that. I know that funds are not always available, but we're willing to help you with the cost of doing something like that. And we're hoping that we can move forward with getting that ball rolling with, bringing something like that, autism awareness via art, or, just so people can talk about autism and other disabilities. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the honor of receiving the award. And here's my husband, Franco Pinciolotti.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Franco Pinciolotti. I'm the president of the Foundation Autism Yesterday and Today. My English is not so good, but my heart and my brain all the time, I try to bring more information for autism, for my son. My son is an autistic person. I write a book for Giovanni, my son's life, and that's the contribution to experience about family, bring autistic community. I work very hard for support the community. My pleasure. I know Francisco Cermeño for many years. And I live in Hayward before. And thank you so much for this opportunity. And God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And you pronounce Pinchalati a lot better than I do.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Salinas and council members. My name is Rhea Lancaster. I'm a proud HUSC parent and founder and president of Fearless Path. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that offers free events to support and celebrate individuals with neurodiversity. Fearless Path was launched in 2016 in partnership with HUSD to create safe, inclusive spaces where individuals with autism and other special needs can feel seen, supported, and valued. This journey is deeply personal to me. My son, Balian, is on the autism spectrum. He has been the heart and inspiration behind Fearless Path. He's been a part of HUSC family since he's in preschool at Helen Turner and is now a student at Tennyson High School Special Day class. Through this journey, both challenges and triumphs, my husband and I were moved to create a community where families like ours feel a true sense of belonging. And we would also like to thank the HUSD Board President, Mr. Peter Buffette, for acknowledging April as Autism Awareness Month, along with the amazing parents and advocates here. And also tonight, we also ask you and thank you so much for your support for continuing to shine a light on autism awareness in our community, promoting understanding, empathy, and equity here in Hayward and beyond. Thank you for your time.
I speak Spanish. Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Hilda García. Es un milagro poder ver esto porque... Sí, tratar. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mi nombre es Hilda García y para mí esto es un milagro. Estoy en el USD desde el 2012. Mi hijo...
Okay. Hello, my name is
Hilda García.
Hilda Garcia, and I am very blessed to be here.
Mi hijo está en el distrito desde el 2012.
My son is in the district of Hayward District.
Desde 2012. He navegado mucho este sistema y que se,
I have tried to navigate the system very strong and hard.
que se reconozca esto para las familias de habla hispana es increíble.
And to please recognize that because the family, she represents the family that speaks Spanish.
Ya estoy aquí en representación de ellas. En el 2012 era solo yo, pero ahora somos muchas.
She says in the beginning it was me, but now we are a lot of us.
Me siento feliz y gracias por dar esta oportunidad.
She is very happy. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
Ay, no sé ni cómo decirle lo maravilloso que me siento. Thank you so much.
I cannot express myself how amazing I feel for today.
Gracias, Ana.
Glad to.
Go Wildcats. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lisa Tess, principal at Winton Middle School, proud principal at Winton Middle School. I feel like one of the kids with my phone. Usually I have a piece of paper with the font blown up really large, so bear with me. I do want to say a few words because this is very important, and I feel so honored to be here tonight among these amazing, amazing people who have done really all the work. I get to look good. They've put in all of the time, the effort, the energy, and so I'm so proud to be here. I just want to say it's an honor to stand before you tonight as we gather to recognize autism awareness and reaffirm our commitment to inclusion, understanding, and acceptance. Every individual on the autism spectrum brings unique strengths, perspectives, and talents to our community. This proclamation is more than words on paper. It's a promise to listen, to learn, and to create environments where autistic individuals are not only supported, but celebrated. Let's continue to educate ourselves and others, to advocate for accessibility and equity, and to ensure that all voices are heard and valued. Together, we can build a world that embraces neurodiversity with compassion and respect. Thank you so very, very much.
Hi, my name is Ana Navidad, and I'm so proud and so grateful that you have given us this opportunity. And we are hopeful that we can work together to make Autism Month really Awareness Month with activities, with projects. I'm looking forward working with the police station as well, and anybody that'd like to join us. But I want to give up my time because Sabrina would like to do a cheer for you. She loves to perform anytime she can. Go ahead, sweetheart. We are the Mighty Bear. Hi, bears, we gotta rock. This leads to all victory. Now hit it. We are the Mighty Bear. Hi, bears, we gotta rock. This leads to all victory. Now hit it.
You know, it's quite tough just to come up to that microphone and talk, but to do a cheer, congratulations. That has to be a first. Congratulations. Nice.
Hi, my name is Joshua Ridenauer. Unlike my fellow advocates, I don't usually write a speech. I'd like to just speak. This is incredibly meaningful for every person with autism, every family with an autistic child. One thing that we don't appreciate in the journey that these families go through is that nobody gives us a sign when our kids are born that says your child is going to be autistic. It's something that you discover along the way. It's a challenge from the moment. Nobody tells you exactly what to do, how to get involved, how to advocate for your child. You have to work constantly. And every family who's here knows the story I'm talking about, knows what that is like. And awareness is not just about inclusion. It's not just about saying we're here. It's understanding that the people in your community are going through unbelievably different lives than you are living, and having to face challenges that nobody is there to tell us how to get through, right? There are no books that tell you what to do. There's no, course to chart. You have to figure it out for yourselves, and this is a first step of a very long journey to understanding what the lives of your community members are going through every single day. And look, I'm lucky. My son is wonderful. He's happier than you can possibly imagine. He's just a wonderful child. And I love having him as a son. The thing is, when you go and you see the kids that grow up around him, they are more empathetic than any other group you could possibly imagine. They see, his victories as their own. And I tell every person, go and look at, a classroom that has one or two autistic children with the other kids, and then look at one that doesn't. And you're going to see a brighter society in one classroom than another, because those kids learn what empathy is really about, what difference is really about, because they see so many differences. They see so many different things from those students that they are growing up with. And I don't know, I ramble on. Thank you again so much for being, taking this first step with all of us. And again, I hope this is a first step for Hayward, because we are a wonderful community. Anyways, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lani Liamido. I'm a parent of Hayward Unified School District. Promoting autism awareness is a deeply personal cause for me. So thank you, Mayor Mark Salinas, council members, and the City of Hayward for spearheading the effort, for declaring or proclaiming the month of April as Autism Awareness Month and April 2nd as Autism Awareness Day. We require strong political will and engagement at the highest levels of leadership. This makes a significant difference. While everyone's involvement is crucial, top-level engagement with political will is essential, particularly when parent advocates like ourselves are included in or on the table. So thank you so much for this proclamation, and we look forward for more partnership with you, beginning with the Hayward Police District and many other organizations. Good evening.
Well, first of all, I wanted to thank all of you for coming out this evening to the council meeting, and absolutely, I think I speak on behalf of the council. It is our honor and privilege to, to do this. And our city, as you know, we are a city of kids, and I think what one of the greatest virtues that our school district has is that its doors are open to all kids, and of all circumstances. And I think by looking at our parents, such as you, and all of the groups that are in their ecosystem, that are in their world, if parents like you are with them every step of the way, we have no doubt that our kids are going to grow up healthy, strong, educated, and thriving. So thank you very much for coming out this evening. I really appreciate it. And be well. Thank you. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. I will now move on. Our next special recognition is the public service recognition. And we have representatives from many of our labor groups that are going to be here to receive the proclamations that we have. And then, of course, representing the city of Hayward, our Assistant City Manager, Regina Youngblood, will be receiving the proclamation for the city. But the groups that we have that will be here is Firefighters Local 1909. I don't know if there's a representative from Firefighters. Firefighters Local 1909, Fire HFCA, HAME, Police HMPU, Police HPOA, IFPTE Local 21, SEIU 1021 Clerical, SEIU 1021 Maintenance, and then unrepresented group. And so I don't know if they're all here or not, but I will proceed and read the proclamation. Where is it right here? Are any of the groups here? Great, great, all right. I will read it. Okay, proclamation. Whereas public servants are the unsung heroes who proudly do the work that keeps government moving at the federal, state, county, and city levels. And whereas the public servants employed by the City of Hayward are proud individuals committed to providing excellent service to the Hayward community, and whereas City of Hayward public employees take not only jobs, but oaths to protect, serve, and support the community, and whereas City of Hayward public employees are registered disaster workers who will return to work in the face of an emergency to provide service and support to the Hayward community, and whereas many of the public servants, including police officers, firefighters, and others, risk their lives every day to protect life, property, and maintain a safe and clean environment for the community they serve. And whereas public servants include maintenance workers, clerical and administrative workers, analysts, animal care attendants, programmers, community service officers, computer technicians, attorneys, counselors, accountants, and countless other occupations, day in and day out, they provide the diverse services that the American people deserve from their government at the federal and state level, and for those in their communities at the county and city levels with integrity and efficiency. Now, therefore, I, Mark Salinas, Mayor of the City of Hayward, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th to May 10th, 2025 as Public Service Recognition Week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to our public servants. So why don't I invite, who is here? How about the fire, 1909, I don't see anybody from 1909. HFCA? No. HAME? No. HPMU? Yep, management group. POA? IFPTE, Local 21? No. SEIU? Clerical, SEIU maintenance, and then unrep. Unrep, perfect. Great.
Great. Well, we thought we were the big guys. Perfect. Yeah, so much for that.
Okay. And of course, they send the tallest. Maintenance. I'm sorry, my bad. Okay, so let's give our public service employees a big round of applause. Thank them. Okay. Moving on to public comment. This item is reserved for anyone in the audience that would like to make a public comment on anything that is not on the agenda. And I do have some public comment cards. Let me make sure. Okay. I have 3 public comment cards here, and let me see if I have anyone online. I have 1 public comment online, and I do see the name. I see Jeanette Hernandez is online, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Ms. Hernandez wants to speak on the Arandas item. So, Ms. Hernandez, if you can hear me, I will call on you when we get to the consent calendar. So public comment. First public commenter is Emily Huang.
All right. Thank you to City Council and the city for recognizing the unwavering dedication and expertise of our employees, many of whom are behind me today. My name is Emily Huang, and I am the management analyst in the Community Services Division. I work on several projects you are familiar with, including the community agency funding process and the HEART program. I take pride in these efforts, which have had positive impacts in Hayward, like supporting contracts that served over 136,000 Hayward residents last year. Every employee in this room plays a vital part in delivering essential services to the Hayward community. I'm speaking to you because Public Service Recognition Week feels different this year. On April 15th, staff spoke passionately before the council out of deep care for our city and the direction it's heading. Since then, the city manager's actions have only increased instability and concern within our organization. On April 30th, employees were surprised by an email from the city manager announcing that our HR director, Brittany Fry, had prematurely transitioned out of her role despite her previously communicated last day being this Friday on May 9th. This change was communicated through an email to Brittany on April 29th at 10 p.m. Brittany arrived at City Hall the next day, unaware that she was going to be forced to pack up and leave that day. She walked out of City Hall in tears, while her team found out via email that she was gone and that her replacement is the interim finance director, who is a temporary employee and just joined the city a few months ago. This decision was calculated and unnecessary, and it sent a clear message to our staff. Loyalty and service mean nothing here. We have lost all trust, we are demoralized, and we are being forced to question whether this administration values competence in people or just control. Decisions like these don't just affect us internally, they directly threaten major initiatives like the HEART program and our ability to deliver services to residents. During Public Service Recognition Week, we should be celebrating, not defending our city's values. We urge you to take a hard look at how this organization is being led and consider how your inactions will only impact the residents we are all here to serve, and also the city's reputation. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Manny Grewal.
Hi, I'm Manny Graywall, an analyst for Maintenance Services and Hames Treasurer. First, in the spirit of Public Service Recognition Week, I want to express my appreciation for my colleagues. Second, I'm speaking today to share concerns about the city manager's actions and policy implementations. An example is the return to office policy. When AR 2.97 was initially rolled out, it included collaboration with bargaining groups, a reflection of leadership that valued transparency, communication, and trust. However, the unilateral decision regarding RTO was made pushing a personal agenda that contradicts the city's own values of caring, integrity, and openness. The decision ignored data, regional practices, executive input, and any meaningful engagement with labor. Employees, those most effective, were left out of the conversation entirely. Any communication after the policy was already finalized was just to check off a box, not as a sincere effort for consideration, engagement, or inclusion. The leadership style is also extending beyond policy. It's showing up how people are being treated without respect, dignity, or professional courtesy, as evidenced by the recent departure of the Human Resources Director. Employees are afraid of voicing opinions or sharing ideas, especially if seen as opposition, in fears of retaliation. Employees are also rightly concerned that future decisions impacting benefits, wages, or job security will follow the same pattern, made in a vacuum without input, without relying on data, and without a regard for those affected. The expectation now is coerced cooperation and not productive collaboration. The top-down authoritarian leadership style by the city manager sets a damaging precedent by creating an environment of low morale, distrust, and impacted operations, which in turn hurts our residents, the people we are here to serve. Speaking of residents, at a time when the public is distrustful and scared of the federal government instability, at least our residents are still supportive of us. The recent residential survey shows a 12% increase in satisfaction since 2021, during the same time period of our current remote work policy. And despite the high cost of living that only continues to rise, our residents are satisfied with our level of service, so much so the K-1 tax measure passed with 83% support. The residents are speaking, and they are saying they support current workforce and policies that consider employees' well-being. As city council members, it is your responsibility to represent these sentiments. It is disheartening to witness a hostile takeover of internal trust and morale so quickly. The city's well-being is deteriorating rapidly, the city's reputation is crumbling, and the employees and residents are suffering for it. Any true meaningful reset is needed with a transparent, trustworthy, and compassionate leader for the best of our residents, our staff, and our services. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Dr. Amber Green.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. My name is Amber Green. I've been with the City of Hayward since 2019. In honor of Public Service Recognition Week, I'd like to honor my colleagues that are here with me today. You are the foundation and backbone of this organization, and I am going to miss you terribly. As some of you may know, I submitted my resignation letter on April 15th, just 24 hours after the city manager notified all staff of the return to office mandate. And yet another staff member has resigned today. This isn't just about one policy, it's about the city manager directly contradicting the very values that the city claims to stand for: caring, openness, and integrity. Let's start with caring. We are supposed to be compassionate, connected, and respecting work-life balance, but sudden decisions with no explanation, like the removal of the Human Resources Director and the blanket return mandate, show a lack of care for employee well-being. Morale is crumbling, and fear has replaced trust. And the appointment of a contract employee, not a full-time city staff member, as interim human resources director, in addition to interim finance director, bypassing internal staff and process, demonstrates a disregard for collaboration and support. Next is openness. Our organization states that we're open to trying new things, working together, and asking tough questions. Yet meeting recordings are banned, suggestion box feedback ignored, and making major changes without explanation shows the opposite. It's a resistance to feedback and collaboration, and a deliberate move away from accountability. Even concerns about the city manager's past leadership has remained unaddressed. We don't know what kind of vetting took place. This isn't openness, it's avoidance. And finally, integrity. We say we have integrity by making data-driven decisions and taking ownership. The city manager's policy shift came with no data, just personal preference. She claims this is a customer service issue, yet the city's own resident satisfaction survey conducted March 29th through April 9th shows a 71% satisfaction rate, up from 66% in 2021. Staff were promised changes would be reasonable, equitable, and efficient. That promise was not kept. And if integrity means taking ownership and accountability for our work and its impact, we have yet to see that modeled from the top down. Right now, city staff no longer feel respected, safe, or heard under this new city manager. If we as staff are expected to uphold the city's values, shouldn't our leaders be held to the same standard? Council, I urge you to take this seriously. What's at stake isn't just employee morale. It's the future of this organization and the services that we provide to the Hayward community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Rick Rivera.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I had not planned to speak this evening. I spoke on April 15th, and I think that between the two, this is the most that I've been before Council in the nearly 6 years that I have been an analyst with the city. This is the longest that I've ever been able to hold down any job in any field. And I wasn't going to say anything, but the confluence of the Employee Appreciation Week, as well as Autism Awareness Month, motivated me to come up and say something. In December, I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Prior to that, all of my dismissals from jobs, I had thought that there was something wrong with me, that I was getting burnt out faster than all other employees, that I was reaching points of anxiety and depression that were going to very dark places much faster than everyone else. When I finished my master's degree, I didn't apply to any other cities, only Hayward. I had gone and worked for a consulting company to find out which city in the Bay was the most functional, which one would fit me the best. It was because of this city's values and because of the flexibility and leadership that was had here that I have been able to work here as long as I have, and I had hoped to be here for the rest of my career. And I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore. Given some of the unilateral decisions that were made. Now, I know that under ADA, I can request accommodation, but I ask you to consider other folks who might not have a diagnosis yet, or maybe dealing with another invisible disability that they don't want to have to out themselves at. If everybody's coming to work every day, and a few exceptions are able to work remotely, that's going to get around. So I ask, well, what I'm saying is, for the good of all, I don't see why I should have to have a disorder in order to have a work-life balance. That should be something that is open to everyone. Again, I wasn't planning on saying anything, but hey, and we really have no idea how many people with invisible disabilities who haven't outed themselves are working at the city. I'm just one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. That was my last card. There are no more public comments online. And I think the two other cards I have here are for items on the agenda. So I'm going to close public comments, and I will proceed to city manager's comments. And tonight, the presenter will be Assistant City Manager Regina Youngblood.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can we get the slides? Thank you very much. Next slide, please. Pleased to provide these city manager comments tonight, May 6th. Compost giveaway. This Saturday, May 10th, the city of Hayward will host its spring compost giveaway at the SkyWest property next to Hayward Executive Airport. This is a first come, first served event. It's very popular with Hayward gardeners. City staff members will give 4 bags of organic compost to Hayward households who visit the site between 7:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. while supplies last. There will be another giveaway held in the fall at the same location. More information is available on the city's website. Bike to Wherever Day. In less than 2 weeks, on Thursday, May 15th, the Bay Area will be celebrating Bike to Wherever Day. This annual event celebrates bicycling as an efficient, sustainable means of transportation. The Hayward Public Works Department will host Energizer stations in the morning at both the downtown Hayward and South Hayward BART stations. You can pledge to ride at bikeeastbay.org and pick up a free tote bag, coffee, and snacks at the Energizer stations. We'll also have information about Hayward Rides, the city's upcoming program to distribute thousands of bicycles to Hayward residents. We hope to see you there. And the Hayward Youth Commission is still recruiting. This spring, the city of Hayward has been actively seeking students eager to represent the interests of young people on the City of Hayward's Youth Commission. To qualify, students must be between the ages of 13 and 20 years old and live in the city of Hayward or within the boundaries of the Hayward Unified School District. The application deadline is this Friday, May 9th. That concludes City Manager's comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I don't know if you may know this or not, but in the past, I know it's been Bike to Work Day and Bike Wherever Day. Do we have a list of they had like check stations or like they had tents throughout the city? Do we know where those tents are going to be at or?
I don't know. From my information, there's going to just be the 2 Energizer stations at the 2 BART locations.
Energizer stations, that's what they're called. Yes. Yeah, because I know there was one before on Soto Road, but the 2 BART stations are great. That's fine. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Okay, next item is our consent calendar. And I do have somebody would like to have a comment on item 10 and on item 4, and no one up here has told me to pull anything, so what I will do is, yes.
Mr. Mayor, we also have a speaker on item 11. She's online.
And she's online, yeah, okay. Okay, so what I will do is let me first open up for public comment, and let me go to our online speaker, Jeanette Hernandez.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Honorable Mayor Salinas, and City Council members. My name is Jeanette Hernandez. I'm here to support item number 11, to adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a sister city agreement with the City of Arandas, Jalisco, Mexico. Again, as I said, my name is Jeanette, and I am a proud third-generation Haywardian, and also an active community member of the City of Hayward. I am also the chair of the Hayward Aranda Sister City, who has now adopted bylaws and formally request the city to vote favorably to formalize this relationship so that we can continue to build a positive bi-national relationship with the City of Arandas. This partnership, I believe, will help with our cultural and linguistic exchange, which I believe is very important, especially now. And again, I hope that all of you vote favorably, and want to thank you for your time and thank you in advance for your consideration.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mike Katz-LaCobb.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council members, staff, and members of the public. My name is Mike Katz-LaCobb, and I'm the Research Director for Oakland Privacy. I am here tonight to urge you to vote against the resolution authorizing the installation of additional 30 license plate readers to the existing 64 license plate readers. As this item is on the consent calendar, perhaps you hadn't had the opportunity to ask questions about this resolution and what it authorizes. For example, the staff report states, quote, "The Flock ALPR systems offer 24/7 monitoring, high-resolution imagery, sound capture, and powerful search capabilities to assist investigations." Did you catch that? Sound capture. The staff report states that these license plate readers will capture sounds, implying that they have microphones. Did anyone ask about that? Is it a concern that you might have? And quote, "Provide real-time alerts for vehicles flagged in the National Crime Information Center, NCIC." Do the Hayward Police understand that immigration detainers are included in the NCIC? This is why most agencies in California do not use NCIC with their Flock camera system, because doing so could be in violation of SB 54, the California Values Act. Parts of the staff report read like a Flock advertising material. For example, nationally, cities have reported up to a 70% reduction in crime areas with ALPR networks. Where does that information come from? Has Hayward seen something similar? You won't find out from reading the staff report. Quote, "The identified ALPRs have a license plate capture accuracy rate of 97%. Is this based on independent testing and analysis, or is it just from Flock marketing materials?" The staff report for this agenda item fails to make a case for why an additional 30 cameras are necessary. If there is an identified need, the staff report fails to state so. In fact, like so many police purchases, there's a lack of analysis on how effective the existing 64 license plate readers have been. While some statistics are provided, there is no comparison to vehicle theft arrests, vehicle recoveries, or felony arrests prior to installation of the existing flock cameras. So how can you, as financial stewards of Hayward taxpayer funds, judge whether this is the most effective use of grant funds? How have the existing cameras affected the crime rate in the city? Is this something that the police department has even considered? There is currently one license plate reader for every 2,500 Hayward residents. An additional 30 license plate readers will bring that ratio to one license plate reader for every 1,300 or 1,730 Hayward residents. How much surveillance is enough? Until the police department provides some data analysis on the effectiveness of the existing license plate readers, I encourage you to vote no on this agenda item. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is for item number 4, Atzlan native.
Hello, City Council. So there are quite a few issues that the people have been dealing with. So one is the houseless communities that nobody's brought up. There's a lot of homeless people in the community, and there seems like there's nothing being done but sweeps. We've seen some sweeps going on around the railroad tracks where officers were going and just knocking down tents, not giving them a heads up. I don't know if you guys are aware with the James Edward Oakley incident in Vallejo, where the brother was asleep in his tent and they used a bulldozer to do the sweep, and he was still asleep inside of his tent, and they killed James Edward Oakley. Another thing is the child safety with these smart meters being deployed all throughout the parks and schools. I know you guys obviously know about these smart meters, cell towers being hidden in trees. I don't know if you're allowing this deployment, but they are not safe for children. The studies have shown that they're causing a lot of health complications, and the radiation emittances, the frequencies are way too high. So something to look into. Another thing is the weather modification program that is also going on. We see a lot of these jet streams that are dropping unknown particles all throughout the communities. Another thing to look into, since you do own an airplane. And please, just for the sake of the children, there's been a lot of abductions also going on. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I'm glad to see that you guys are doing something about the autistic community, the children, and but all children are at risk right now. And another thing to keep in mind is, the tactics that are being used by these kidnappers. This is an ongoing occurrence, and it's something that needs to be addressed. I know that Officer Clark, one other thing, I'm with the Augie Gonzalez community, and I do not agree with the way the officers have been not showing transparency throughout the community. They are still hyper-policing. They're not showing transparency. They got you behind them, so they think that they can pretty much do whatever they want. But we need more transparency in the community. We need the police to slow it down. We already killed enough people. Let's just stop giving these officers them stripes on that note. But as far as the children, thank you for everything you're doing for the children.
Your time is up.
But we're going to keep you in prayer, and we thought the tyranny would end when Holiday and McAdoo was
your
gone.
time is up. Thank you.
But obviously it has. God bless.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And Madam City Clerk, if you can correct the record, I do not own an airplane. Thank you. Next item, we do not have any more. Oh, we have one more public comment, is TJ from Hayward Concerned Citizens.
Hi, this is TJ with HCC. Item number 10. The reason the additional cameras are needed, they've been proven to work. Incidents of stolen cars have gone down per Chief Matthews in the last Public Safety Committee meeting. Perhaps Mr. LeCobb would like to attend the next one that's coming at the end of May. We're well aware of the crimes that the cameras have helped to solve. Hayward Concerned Citizens fully supports the flock cameras, the license plate readers, as force multipliers to help with Hayward's public safety. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not have any more cards, and there is nobody else online, so I'd like to close public comments, and I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I would like to pull 10. We don't have to vote on it tonight, or folks can still move to vote on it tonight, but I think there were some valid concerns that were raised that I would like to have addressed by the police department. So we can either do that now or at a future meeting.
Well, before we can pull an item, it is on our consent calendar, so we would have to vote on whether or not, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. City Attorney, if we wanted to pull an item from the agenda, would that have to be a vote on the council, correct?
Mayor, the handbook does allow a member the privilege of delaying an item for one regular meeting. So if that is the request of the member, that is an appropriate request, and it is allowed in the handbook.
Okay. We will extend the privilege to the council member. Thank you. And we will pull item 10 for next meeting, and then I'll entertain a motion on items 1 through 11 with the exception of item number 10. Moved by Councilmember Zermeño.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Roach. And Madam City Clerk, let's see if we can do a vote.
So if there are no concerns, Mayor, then it's a
Yes,
consent calendar.
if there are no other comments, questions. Hold on, Councilmember Zermeño.
Just a quick comment on item number 11. This is the Arandas. I thank our city manager, I thank our mayor, I thank Sakabati and the staff who actually were instrumental, and also our city attorney who were instrumental in making sure that this actually came through. And I thank you for the vote.
Thank you. Moved by Councilmember Zermeño, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Roach, and there are no more questions or comments. Madam City Clerk, we can take a vote.
Since this is the consent calendar, then it is unanimously
So if there,
approved.
okay, I thought we were going to practice with the screen, but
With the next item.
okay, that's fine. Okay, if there are no objections, it will unanimously pass. Thank you.
May I give a brief comment on the poll just to help give staff a little bit of direction? for
Sure,
the item?
go right ahead.
Thank you. We had an executive order passed recently by the president that is going to try to force sanctuary cities to comply. I am nervous around our immigrant population and our undocumented community being subject to increased surveillance and the potential for our police department to be forced into cooperation with ICE. I am also concerned with the audio recording. I am curious if the current flock cameras we have installed also record audio. They don't currently. And so I'm wondering if there's a variation of this platform or this technology that doesn't record audio, so there's a bit more privacy as well. I understand the privacy concerns. I also have had the opportunity to do a ride-along with officers and understand how vehicle-based your policing work is, and there's a lot of inroads and outroads in the city of Hayward, so I understand the desire to want to purchase these cameras, and I have supported the purchase of these cameras before in the past. This iteration of them does seem a bit more advanced, and I just would like to hear those concerns addressed before we move forward with a contract of this size, especially given concerns coming down from the federal government. So I just wanted to offer some rationale for the polling, and hopefully when this comes back, we can speak to some of those concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Andrews.
Just a question. So this is going to the next meeting?
This will be.
So the Public Safety Committee is after
Yes,
this meeting?
I
Okay.
believe so.
And then, so if that is the case, I know that in previous meetings, we did discuss this type of technology and looking at ACLU, and I believe the police department has already looked at those types of requirements, so maybe you can bring that information just to give to the council, because this has been looked at in the Infrastructure Committee in a previous iteration before it was public safety. So there has been some research done.
Yes. Okay. I will close this item. Move on to our work session. Our work session next is item number 12 is review of recommended capital improvement program for fiscal year 26 through fiscal year 35. And this report is going to come to us from our Public Works Director, Mr. Alex Amiri.
Thank you very much, and good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Staff is pleased to be here this evening to present the city's FY26, FY35 10-year capital improvement program. The development of the CIP has been a process involving many staff from various departments over the past several months. Public Works and Utilities team has been managed by Senior Management Analyst Ellie Lowe, and the process led by Management Analyst Michael Wolney and Marissa Mata. As always, engineers, planners, and other staff in various divisions and departments have been involved and contributed to the process. The CIP was presented to the Planning Commission during a public hearing session, and the Commission found the CIP projects consistent with the general plan. Also, the CIP was reviewed by the Council Infrastructure Committee, and the CIC recommended its approval to Council. I now turn this over to Marissa Mata, who is in her office at City Hall, to make the use of multi-screen setup to kick off the presentation. Thank you. Marissa?
Okay, good evening. Just confirming everyone can see my screen and also hear me.
Yes, and yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, City Council. My name is Marissa Mata, and I'm a Management Analyst for Public Works. This evening, I will be presenting the recommended fiscal year 26 Capital Improvement Program, or CIP, for your review and comment. For the past several years, the CIP has been developed as an online book using OpenGov Stories. The online version can be found on the city's website, linked on the screen here. OpenGov Stories is intended to increase the user-friendliness and ease of navigation within the document and make it more publicly accessible. I will provide a brief tour for the public of the online OpenGov Stories. One moment while I switch screens. Okay. The online version of the CIP can be accessed by the public at www.hayward-ca.gov/CIP. You can also search for Hayward CIP in your search browser. Scrolling down on this CIP homepage, the public will see a blue bar, which will take the user to the online version of the CIP. This is the recommended viewing experience for the CIP because it includes a number of interactive tables and charts. For members of the public who prefer to view a printable PDF version, they can click on the second blue bar here to view the entire CIP document in PDF format. It may take a moment to load once you click the blue bar. The only difference between this PDF version you see on your screen and the interactive online version is that the hyperlinks are not active in this PDF version. Going back to the homepage, there is also a section on the website which includes the fiscal year 2025 CIP semi-annual progress report, where users can view status of current projects. Now I will open the online version of the CIP on the OpenGov platform by clicking on this first blue bar here. On this homepage, if you scroll down a bit, you'll see the 4 main sections of the CIP. First is the introduction, which includes more information about the city's elected officials and the organizational chart. Second, the strategic priorities page, which includes an overview of the city's strategic priorities and some featured projects that support these priorities. Third is the explore the budget, which is the heart of the CIP, where the public can get key budget insights, such as the total proposed budget amounts, as well as information on various projects within the CIP. Lastly, the table of contents page allows the user to navigate within the CIP, which I will go over later. Now I want to take a moment to focus on the strategic priorities page. If I click the link here, it will take the public to a brief overview of the city's strategic roadmap and the priorities within it. Scrolling down a bit, you will also see several highlighted projects that we have included brief narratives for. If you click on the hyperlink title of each project, it will bring you to the project page where you can find more detail about the project. For example, if we click on the hyperlink for the Public Safety Center project, which City Council has recently awarded, it will take you to this page. which shows the 2 proposed sites for the project, a project description, and the project expense budget, which is currently $500,000 for the conceptual facility and site design. Next, we will look at the Explore the Budget page by clicking the link here. As you can see, this page summarizes the fiscal year 26 CIP budget at a high level. The recommended fiscal year 26 budget is $161 million, with the total 10-year budget at $1.3 billion. Below that section are the key insights, such as the total fiscal year 26 general fund transfers to CIP funds, which amount to approximately $3 million. The total fiscal year 26 internal service fees are approximately $3.9 million, and the total identified but unfunded capital needs portion is approximately $709 million. If the public would like to see further details on the projects that comprise these amounts, they can click here where it says click here to learn more. Scrolling down a bit further, you can choose to view the details of the recommended CIP by fund or by category. I will start by clicking by fund here on this link. Here, the public can view an overview of the city's fund portfolio. If they click on one of the caret icons seen here on the table, the public can view the total recommended budget amounts for specific funds, like so. If the user keeps scrolling down the page, they will see a description of each fund, and every underlined text will link to a new page that will show the various projects within each fund. For example, if I click here on Fund 210 Gas Tax Fund, I will be taken to a separate page dedicated only to Fund 210 projects. As you can see, I can click on each caret icon in the table to then view various projects within the fund and category. Beneath this table, there is also a short list of featured projects, each having their own project page. For example, if I click on the fiscal year 26 pavement rehabilitation program here, I will see an image and description of the project, along with the overview of revenue sources that contribute to the project, as well as the expense budget for this project. As you can see from this table, the total proposed fiscal year 26 budget for this particular project is $11.6 million. Now I will go back to the Explore the Budget page. This time we'll look at the budgets by category by clicking the link here. Once again, the public will see a pie chart with the fiscal year 26 total budget, but this time broken down by category as opposed to fund. Just like the fund page, the public will see a table that populates this pie chart and allows the user to see the projects with their total budgets organized by category. If the user continues down the page, they will also see links to the pages for each project category. For example, if I click on the Livable Neighborhoods link, I will see a description of what the category is, in this case, we have parks, buildings, traffic calming, pedestrian and bicycle improvements, etc. Now I will go back to the Explore the Budget page one more time. I would like to point out more helpful resources, first starting with the appendices. If you're looking for a specific project budget but aren't sure how to find the project, the user can start by clicking Appendix A for all project budgets by category. The Appendix A page will show an expanded view of every project and its budget. The public can search for keywords using Control or Command F function. For example, if I want to search for pavement projects, I can hit Control F and type in pavement, like so. And all of the projects with the words pavement will be highlighted. On the other hand, if the user is looking for a specific project description and aren't sure where to start, the best source would be Appendix B linked here. On this page, the search functionality is built within the table. To search again for pavement, I can click on the caret icon next to project title here and type in pavement and hit OK. And now you will see all of the projects with the word pavement in the title of the project, along with their project numbers and descriptions. The easiest way to reset your search on this page is to refresh your browser like so. Lastly, I would like to point out the table of contents section. If you are ever lost or want to start over, the bottom of every page should have a link to the table of contents. When you open the table of contents, you will see an overview of the structure of the CIP and links to every single page in the CIP. This is the best way to navigate to a particular section or page quickly. The three main sections featured on the homepage are also featured here, which are the introduction, strategic priorities, and explore the budget. The other two subsections of the CIP, by fund or by category, are also here. This allows the user to view project budgets and descriptions by fund or category like we previously went over. The last section for other shows the appendices as well as the CIP PDF link. The semi-annual progress report for fiscal year 26 will be linked later this year as projects make progress. This concludes the online tour. I will now turn to the presentation. One moment as I switch screens. Okay, moving on, this slide provides a snapshot of the recommended CIP's budget breakdown by project category. Examples of project categories are municipal facilities improvements, road and street projects, airport projects, and more. As you may notice, the largest portion of the recommended fiscal year 26 budget has been programmed in sewer system projects in orange. Projects in this category encompass a wide range of projects which support the ongoing replacement and improvement of our utility infrastructure, such as the annual sewer line replacement and our Phase 2 improvement project at the Water Resource Recovery Facility. The second largest category is livable neighborhoods in gray. This category includes projects that focus on the enhancement of neighborhood amenities with projects like La Vista Park, the South Hayward Youth and Family Center, median landscaping projects, traffic calming projects, pedestrian and bicycle improvements, and sidewalk projects, among others. Lastly, the third largest category is the water system projects in blue, which include groundwater sustainability projects, annual water line replacements, and more. This next slide displays the recommended budget broken down by funding source as opposed to category. Funding source examples include, but are not limited to, special revenue funds such as gas tax and vehicle registration fee, or enterprise funds such as airport capital. Funds with the largest allocation of the recommended budget are the water and sewer system funds in blue and orange. The fund with the third largest budget allocation is Fund 405 Capital Projects. Many of these projects fall within the livable neighborhoods category, such as La Vista Park and the Stack Center. The livable neighborhoods category includes beautification, safety and neighborhood amenities, and improvement projects. In addition to Stack Center and La Vista Park, other examples include the Campus Drive Improvements Project, through which a series of traffic calming measures are being implemented in the stretch of Campus Drive between 2nd Street and Hayward Boulevard, as well as the Orchard Avenue Traffic Calming Project and Safe Routes to School projects. The Alameda County Transportation Commission Safe Routes to School program conducts regular school safety assessments for public schools in Hayward and throughout the county, resulting in a set of infrastructure recommendations to make it easier for students to bike and walk to school. Hayward's Safe Routes to School program was created to implement these recommendations in collaboration with partners such as Hayward Unified School District, Alameda CTC, and various community organizations. Next, municipal facility improvements. The new Fire Station number 6 and Fire Training Center project was constructed at the Hayward Executive Airport as a campus with classrooms, offices, a training tower, a burn building, and other facilities for urban search and rescue, as well as a new Fire Station number 6. The project has been completed and is in service. A new project in this category is the Public Safety Center project. The existing Hayward Police Station no longer meets the space, operational, staffing, and security requirements for the Hayward Police Department. The new Public Safety Center project aims to develop the conceptual design of the new facility, including site assessment of 2 potential locations, which are the former California Air National Guard site and the former City Hall building on Foothill Boulevard. The scope of work encompasses identifying space needs, conducting site analysis and design, creating facility layout plans, and cost analysis. A key project in the roads and streets category is Phase 3 of the Mission Boulevard Corridor Improvement Project, located from A Street to the northern city limit at Rose Street. It is the last phase of the 3-phase Mission Boulevard Corridor Improvement Project and will include traffic calming measures, the addition of bicycle facilities, the installation of landscaping, monument signs, lighting, and other improvements. This project is almost complete. Another project in this category is the Main Street Complete Streets project. This project will improve pedestrian and bicycle facilities along Main Street, in addition to replacing existing sidewalk, resurfacing and restriping roadways, and adding streetlights to create a safe and friendly environment for multimodal travel in the downtown Hayward area. This project is expected to be completed this June. Water system projects are enterprise fund supported and are related to the improvement of our water system, as well as projects which promote water conservation. Some major projects include the cast iron water pipeline replacement program, as well as the annual water line replacement program project, through which we aim to replace 2 miles of water pipeline every year. The sewer system category is the largest of the categories in the CIP and include projects which are also enterprise fund supported and are related to the improvement of our sewer system, water reuse efforts, and water resource recovery facility. Some major projects in this category include the fiscal year 26 sewer line replacement project, the water resource recovery facility phase 2 improvement projects, and phase 2 recycled water projects. Staff is currently developing a recycled water plan to guide design and construction efforts for phase 2 of the recycled water program. Phase 2 will involve increasing the recycled water customer base, which will require designing and constructing an expanded treatment facility to meet the increased demand. Next, the fleet management category is comprised of projects involving the replacement of fleet units in various departments, divisions, or work groups, and other city-related vehicles. Fleet purchases benefiting the fire and police departments are predominantly funded by transfers from the general fund, while those benefiting the airport, stormwater, sewer, and water divisions are predominantly supported by enterprise funding. A project in this category is the citywide EV charging upgrade. Staff is working with Ava Community Energy to install 1 to 3 fast charging hubs for electric vehicle charging, the first of which will be Muni Lot 4. Muni Lot 4 is located between B and C Street east of Foothill. These hubs will be entirely funded by Ava Community Energy and will serve the general public, but will be sited to also serve residents of multifamily properties, many of which are older buildings that lack the infrastructure needed to support EV charging. The airport category is comprised of all projects within Fund 621, Airport Capital, which support improvements to the Hayward Executive Airport. One key project in this category is the Sulphur Creek Mitigation Project, which will allow for the design, engineering, and construction of enclosing portions of Sulphur Creek adjacent to airport runways. The project includes a total budget of $8.3 million, which is being provided by the Federal Aviation Administration, Caltrans Division of Aeronautics, and the city's Airport Enterprise Fund. And finally, the miscellaneous category includes projects that do not fit into the other categories, such as the 2040 General Plan Update, the Route 238 property projects, and the parcel group projects. The parcel group projects, which are currently budgeted at $585,000 combined in fiscal year 26, are used to facilitate the new cohesive development of former Caltrans 238 property parcels with the goals of eliminating blight, creating public benefits for the community, and generating excess land value to the city. In addition to including recommended project budgets, the CIP also includes a list of identified and unfunded capital needs. One of the largest unfunded needs continues to be the renovation of the Corporation Yard. The necessary improvements to the courtyard were estimated to be $140 million. The fiscal year 26 CIP includes a corporation yard needs assessment project, which is funding the development of a revised assessment to determine the current improvement needs and update costs. Another significant need included in the unfunded capital needs list as a part of the recommended CIP is the Stack Center, which currently has an unfunded need of an estimated $25 million for future phases of this project. Now, this graphic is intended to demonstrate the CIP's alignment with the city's strategic roadmap. The list of projects featured here is not exhaustive, but does demonstrate a helpful overview of the priorities that CIP projects support. For example, you can see that CIP projects tend to directly support the invest in infrastructure priority shown in yellow on the left-hand side. However, many of the projects support multiple priorities simultaneously. And that concludes the presentation. It is staff's recommendation that City Council review and comment on the recommended fiscal year 26 CIP. Myself and the team are now available for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Let me first go to public comments. This is a work session. And let me check online, see if there's anyone. I don't see any public comments online. I don't have any cards here on this item, so I have to close public comment. Actually, I do have a public comment. Rose A.
Good evening, all. This is Ro Aguilar, and I want to commend the City Council and staff for this excellent list of capital projects, traditional capital projects. However, we are no longer doing business as usual in this country. The federal administration we have now does not believe in helping local governments, and solving homelessness is on the top of our three issues cited in the survey for 2/3 of our residents. So every cent we spend must be reviewed through the lens of solving homelessness. And I would like to see a list before you approve this capital projects appropriations in June. I would like to see a list of capital projects that address homelessness in some way, which, as we know, is a top priority for living satisfactorily in Hayward. So we have to start thinking differently. Think outside the box. How can we do capital projects that also address the top concerns of the people residing in our city, and which further our goals to be compassionate and caring? Thank you.
Thank you. There's have another, no. Okay, so I don't have any more public comments. I'll close public comments. Come up here to the dais. Councilmember Syrup.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for this report. And I think it's hard to process this information without kind of a readout of our strategic roadmap priorities, because I also want to make sure that this aligns. And so I'm hoping that the next iteration of this proposed budget, maybe, I know that has, but we just did a strategic roadmap and we haven't finalized that new iteration of the strategic roadmap. But thank you, I understand it's on the website. So for example, the Stack Center Phase 2 and 3 being combined together, I think is something that seemed like there was support on council around. And I'm curious, would that be something that would then be amended to this capital improvement project budget?
Yes, Council Member. The question there is about funding. Phase 2 has a funding deficit of about $18 million. If you include Phase 3, the deficit is going to be increased. As long as we can find a source of funding to combine Phase 2 and 3, absolutely, we can bring that option before you.
And is financing one of those options similar to how we paid for the library?
Correct, that's an option, as long as we have a source of repayment for the funding.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. We had an opportunity in infrastructure to take a look at this already, so I'll reserve my comments 'cause I think I gave most of them there. But great work on putting this together, and I hope to see some of our strategic priorities reflected in the next iteration.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Roach.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I really hope more of the community members are listening, like Ms. Aguilar, and saw the interactive presentation on how to access all this information that is so critical to everything affecting our city. But I also want to pause and say that I'm definitely thrown off my concentration this evening because of what we heard earlier. So many of these projects are going to take multiple departments to achieve these goals. And if our staff don't have what they need to work effectively, then I think it's something we're going to have to seriously address, because we all need to be able to move forward together, and that's departments, administration, council, all of it, to get this amazing list of projects done. And I want us to take that seriously. I want to acknowledge that, because it's weighing heavy in the room for me, and sort of trying to address all of this stuff seriously is really difficult, knowing that there's unrest. And so I wanted to say that, because it's sort of hard to go back to the business as usual after that. But I will ask a couple of questions on the recycled water project. You said you're working on phase 2. Is that so that when funding reveals itself, that it will be able to move forward with that on the recycled water project?
Absolutely. As soon as we did our phase 1, people came out and asked for, more recycled water to their areas. And in order for us to be able to do that, we have to do a plan to make sure that we know what we are doing. And then with that plan, ask for sources of funding. There are funding available, different sources of funding for projects for recycled water, because it is a water supply project, and it is highly regarded.
Oh, okay, good. So that's not something that we're worried about going away right now. Okay.
I'm sorry?
That's not the kind of funding we're worried about going away right now from.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the other question I had is on the Safe Route for seniors. I know I brought this up before, and I didn't necessarily see it on the list, but I really do want to take it seriously, putting in some sort of crossing where we have this new sort of, senior living facilities now, because I just think, I think there's a Tennyson route and downtown route, but I want to make sure, it looks like our senior population will sort of grow now into the 2nd Street area, and I want to make sure we're sort of capturing that as a dynamic senior living corridor.
Absolutely. You had made that comment before.
Yeah.
And absolutely, yes.
Okay, thank you. And otherwise, it's so much to look at and absorb, and I'm just really proud of everything that we're doing in the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Bonilla.
Thank you, Mayor. I just also wanted to reiterate my pleasure with this plan. I remember when I was on the Planning Commission, the first time that this went digital, so to see sort of how it's evolved over time is fantastic. I also really like the ease of use for some of these projects, especially when you click onto the strategic priorities, the visuals associated with all of these. Some of them have videos. It's just really, really powerful to show the type of evolution that we're making across our community, and how we're being responsive to evolving a community that's meeting the evolving needs of everybody in Hayward. So just really appreciate it. Very excited about La Vista Park coming to closure soon. And I also just like the clear view and the transparency that comes with how these projects are being funded, because you see a lot of these projects aren't just being done on our own. They take a lot of partnership and a lot of collaboration, which I really appreciate. But I also just appreciate the financial transparency around this work and the sense of urgency that we have with these projects to really bringing them to life to continue to enrich our community. So thank you so much, and thanks to your staff for preparing this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you. I agree with Councilmember Syrup that, yes, we had a lot of our comments in the Infrastructure Committee. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things again. Given that we have public comment from our folks that are supporting children with autism, these are the kind of opportunities that I would like to see with public art, and see if we can partner with organizations like this, with our maintenance division, to help offset some of the maintenance costs that we see in maintaining electrical boxes, as well as high visibility crosswalks. You heard an offer here tonight for them to do some cost sharing with that. So please take them up on it. Then also just wanted to also highlight that I know that a lot of the larger categories are our water infrastructure, our sanitary sewers, recycled water projects, upgrading at our treatment facilities. And I know these are things that residents can't see every day. They don't see the sewer lines, they don't see the water lines, but these things are very important to giving you the most valuable resource we have, which is water. And so a lot of the things that we're doing here is to maintain that access to something that we all need. So just wanted to highlight that. I know that this is a big number, but we have an aging infrastructure that needs to be updated and upgraded. And also wanted to continue the advocacy of asking our state partners for support in these projects, especially when they are state mandated regulations that we have to meet by 2030, and including treatment of nutrient removal as well as PFAS. We need support in these, because as you can see, there's a huge unmet need here in terms of budget for these types of projects. So just wanted to advocate. I hear that we're talking about La Vista Park and Stack Center, all those things, but it's the infrastructure that really is going to make the city continue to run. And then also just want to support all the departments that are getting these projects off the ground. We appreciate you, we value you, and just want to make sure that we hear you, and yes, continue to move the city forward with these great projects. Thank you, Alex, for always doing a great job, and thank you to your staff for always presenting very clearly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Zermeño.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Alex, and thank you, Melissa, for a good report. Very detailed, very good. I love all of the projects. I wish we could find $1.3 billion right now, so we wouldn't have to search for it 10 years from now, or the $970,000 million to do the unfunded projects. Colleague Andrews read my mind also on public art. And we had an offer today. So I was kind of looking for something along the lines of public art in the CIP project. So let's work on that a little bit and keep up the good work. And the details, it's fantastic. Visiting this website is something that's very transparent, very user-friendly, resident-friendly. So I thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't see any more speakers. I just had a couple of questions. I read in the staff report that there are some improvements coming along Campus Drive, and I would assume more permanent improvements. I do know, and we all know here, that the school district is going to be building, they're relocating Bret Hart Middle, and right there on the corner of Campus and Hayward Boulevard and Highland, right there in that and those are, it's going to radically change that corridor, 180 days a year. So I was just curious, have we, are we thinking about that? Are we talking to the school district about that? And, and are we, and could there be possible shared costs like Councilmember Andrews just mentioned?
So 2 parts to your question. One is related to permanent improvements. As we speak, we are working on the design of a sidewalk that we had promised to the neighborhood, and that is going to be implemented as a permanent improvement for Campus Drive. Regarding the relocation of the school, there will be a environmental review that will be done, including traffic impact, and any impacts will have to be mitigated. So that work is still ahead of us.
Great. When that impact report comes, I'm sure we will all be looking at that.
Absolutely.
Great. The other one here I have down is I'm pleased to see work focused on roads and a lot of the road treatments. I know our road score is pretty high, and that's great. But I also want to remind everybody that, and particularly what we've been hearing in Airport and Infrastructure Committee meeting regarding what we have been doing around the roads, with a lot of the road diets and treatments and just, with the goal slow traffic down and figure out a way to make our configuration more pedestrian friendly and protecting pedestrians and bicyclists than cars. That I'm glad to see that we're focused on that. Our investment continues to be on that, and but I also just want to reiterate my support, and I'm sure the council's support on doing whatever we can and investing wherever we need to make sure roads are safer, and and so forth. So I know we've been getting an earful in airport and infrastructure, but I think we've all been pretty clear and pretty firm around our position on that. So other than that, I just wanted to give a big high five to staff. It seems that this website keeps getting better and better, and I mean, it's just it's incredible. And I know this has been a project that has been taking a long time, and it's constantly improving. So every time there is a presentation on this, I'm always excited to learn more about what we've been doing. And this is great. So thank you very much. I don't see any other speakers. I don't see any more public comment. And Mr. Amiri and Ms. Mata, thank you very much. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and council members. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Next item is legislative business. It's item number 13. Item number 13, Transit Occupancy Tax, TOT, adoption of a resolution adjusting the city's transient occupancy tax rate from 8.5% to 14% effective July 1st, 2025, and finding that the action is exempt from CEQA review. And this item is going to come to us by our interim finance director, Mr. Ettman.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I am Sharif Ettman, your interim finance director, here to present the TOT review and recommendation from staff and committee. To give you some context as to background as to how we got here today, in June 2020, Council was presented with a comparative analysis of TOT rates and revenues. I won't read all this out loud, and they did a voter polling in comparison in 2017 with election results. In July 2020, Council authorized actions to place an increase in the city's TOT from 8.5% up to a 14% maximum before the voters of Hayward in November 3rd of 2020. And in November 2020, voters passed that measure, which was Measure NN, as you all are aware, which allowed for an increase up to no more than 14% from the existing 8.5%. In November 2022, Council Budget and Finance Committee was presented with a review of the city's current TOT rate and collected revenue. The committee recommended maintaining the current 8.5 rate at that time, and while the city continued its economic recovery from the pandemic. This year, in January, Council Budget and Finance Committee met again regarding TOT and was presented with a review of the city's TOT rate and collected revenue. The committee then recommended to present to City Council an increase in spring 2020-25, which is now to strengthen the city's long-term financial stability. This was presented, I believe, in 2020 and 2022 with the various TOT rates among neighboring cities. You can see the comparison rates of surrounding cities and their TOT rate. A point of note for Hayward is that the city of Hayward also collects an excise tax of 2%. So we are strictly talking about TOT tax here. So the city of Hayward currently has a TOT rate of 8.5%. However, as a consumer, they would collect 10.5% on behalf of Hayward, 2% for excise tax, 8.5% for Hayward. This was presented in the past as well, looking at TOT different revenue in different scenarios if the increase was passed. So you can look at this as just an analysis of what would have happened if the city had accepted these rates in different times of the years past. Of note for focus, I think, is to look at what would be projected for next year. because that's what we're looking at for budgeting issues and for revenue enhancement, is that we currently collect about 3.5 million, actually 3.1 million, and we're looking to have that increase for next year. That increase could be up to $1.5 million. We're much more conservative in that it could be $500,000 to $1 million for next year moving forward. That is the what is before council today is the staff recommendation and council's subcommittee recommendation to adopt a resolution adjusting the city's TOT rate from 8.5% to 14% effective July 1st, 2025.
Thank you. Before I go to public comment, this is a legislative item, so I will start first here with council, and let me see if there are any questions. Mayor Pro Tem Roach.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't have the benefit of being in the Budget and Finance Committee to hear it, and I know we had a little discussion about, some prioritizing in an earlier workshop, but I just want to hear a little more about discussion about, so if the excise, because we did get some public comment, as you probably saw on this, and they're saying that the rate will really now be 16% because of the excise tax. And so was there a discussion about if we went to 12 now, and then so that's effectively 14 for the actual, operators, and why? And then also, can you explain how we approved the TOT, but then we can elevate at any time? Like, what was that language?
It's my understanding the language gives you the authority as city council. So you ask the voters for authority to go up to 14%. You could pick a number. You could say 10%, 12%, 14%. So the authority is up to 14%.
Okay.
And then also in regards to your first question, which was the excise tax, yes, as an outside resident coming into the city of Hayward, staying at a hotel, your room rate would be 16% because it's 14 plus the 2%, the excise tax.
Okay. So, and then what about any discussion on, what if we said, like, I know this might be confusing, this might be the answer, but, we do 12% this year and then we go to 14% a year from now or something like that, just to ease the burden a little bit?
That's certainly the council's discretion, and that's for the discussion tonight.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Just wanted to sort of get some update on that. Thank you.
Councilmember Andrews.
Yes, so I wanted to follow up on Councilmember Roach's question about the phased approach. So what was the feedback from the committee on the phased approach? Is there more detail on that?
I don't believe there was a phased approach recommendation from the committee. The committee recommended the 14%.
Sorry, was it discussion on that phased approach? Can the committee speak to it, or was there any comments about it?
That was prior to my tenure, so I know that we have the council members here. Thank you.
So we did not talk about the phased approach at the last finance committee. However, the phased approach conversation was had, and I forget when we took this to the ballot. That's when we talked about it, and the phased approach was sometime in the future we would bring in whatever the next percentage was, but
so not specific
the phased
numbers.
approach happened. That conversation happened when it first came to us.
Okay, yep, that's helpful. And then wanted to know, has there been any discussion with our Economic Development Committee about these percentages regarding the hotels increase tax?
Not necessarily with the Economic Development Committee, but with our Chief Economic Development Officer. We've spoken with him and also done some research to understand why people do come and stay in Hayward. Hayward is a destination that is very close to the Oakland Coliseum. It's very close to Cal State East Bay. Individuals who are coming here and staying here are staying here out of a necessity that is not going to be impacted by an increase in TOT, right? So they are not going to be price-sensitive individuals. They're either traveling here for business or the close proximity to an engagement, and our surrounding jurisdictions have TOT that is just as high as what we are recommending.
Thank you. And I'll clarify, meant department, not committee, because I don't remember seeing, because I'm on that committee. Didn't remember seeing that item. Okay, thank you. That answered my question. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bonilla.
Thank you. For some reason, I remember in the committee we did have a conversation around a phased approach. I thought that we had said, I also thought that the committee had landed somewhere closer to 12%, because I think I thought 14 was a little high. And then I thought when we were talking about why we didn't want to have a phased approach, I thought it was because staff had said that it would cause additional confusion, and like doing this now and then doing it, 2% another year and a half later would just not be beneficial and conducive to sort of the implementation of something like this. So I guess from your perspective, the 12 to 15%, or what's staff's perspective on some sort of phased approach? Even though that's not the recommendation tonight, it could be what we end up with if we, decide. So do you guys recommend the phased approach, or can you just kind of go on the record with what your view is around, do we do this all at once, or do you think 12% would be good, and then in a couple of years, time to be determined later, we then might reconsider increasing it further?
That's certainly the question of the day, Councilmember, and as your interim finance director, and we have a $12.5 million deficit, it puts us in a precarious situation. We're trying to gather revenue wherever we can. We have had feedback from the hoteliers, while at the same time, it's not a burden on the hoteliers, that is the burden on the outside resident that comes in. And so there's two sides of that coin. Where the impact may be minimal for each resident that comes in staying, it's still at the same time, it is a substantial increase. And so that's the fine line you're trying to serve tonight, is where's the sweet spot that council feels comfortable, but at the same time capturing as much revenue as we can given our substantial deficit moving forward.
Got it. And then my last question is, can you just kind of help us with maybe the dollars and cents associated with this? So like, what's the average hotel cost in Hayward tonight or today or something like that? And then what would be the increase that the resident or the customer would see if we did go up to 14%? Is it like $10, $50? What are we talking about here?
I think if we use just the straight example of $100, right now, if you have a $100 room, which I'm not saying that's the average, but on every $100 that you would spend, it's $8, right, on your tax, actually the $10.50 on the $100. So you're raising that from $110.50 to $116. So there's a $6 difference there.
Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Zermeño.
Mayor, thank you. Excise tax, we have a 2% excise tax, and you listed all these other cities there. How many of those cities also have an excise tax?
That I do not know. Off the top of my head, I can get that for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because if they also have a 2% excise tax, they would also be at 16 as we would, correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember, did you hit the button? Mayor Pro Tem Roach.
Sorry, just to follow up on that. So, I guess that would be significant because the comparison table would make a difference. If every one of these cities has a 2% excise tax, then it would, just bump everybody up 2%. But nobody has any idea right now what that analysis was not done. Is that what? Okay, so we don't know.
I don't have that information.
Okay, yeah, just because it might make a difference on if we're now 16% over San Francisco, and they have all these tourist attractions. It just seems a little out of balance. But thank you.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Yeah, thank you. So, San Francisco in particular, when I did the research, there are 2 points. One is, am I only supposed to be asking questions? Yes. Then let me rephrase this as a question. When you did the research, what did you find about special district taxes on top of TOT?
For this exercise, I did not look at special district tax. I looked strictly at TOT.
Okay. Just to point out then that special district taxes do apply in San Francisco in different areas, and that may also be happening in Oakland, Berkeley, and maybe some other places where they have special events. So just something to consider. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Let me see. I want to try not to repeat, but I guess I think the question earlier was more clear of what I'm about to ask. I think Councilmember Roach and Councilmember Zermeño asked of the comparable cities, are those numbers reflective of the excise tax? Like San Leandro, they're 14%. Are they, are they 12% with the 2% excise tax? I guess that's I don't know that. I don't know if that's easily accessible. We can look that up online right now, but that's the first question. And I guess the second question I had was exactly, and I don't want to keep repeating the question, but is what Councilmember Bonilla asked is, I guess, the cost analysis. I mean, if how much is a room at the Hampton Inn, and if we were to add this 14%, what would be the cost bump? And I don't know whether did we do that analysis, or do we know how much a room at the Hampton Inn is, or?
We do know, but I did not include all the hotels in the city of Hayward to do that analysis. And there's so many different styles and types of hotels here. For a Hampton Inn or a Best Western Plus or La Quinta, you're looking probably $150 average.
Mm-hmm.
It's not $200, it's not $300. At the same time, you're not looking at $60 places.
Yeah.
And so you could do the analysis of basically, obviously, if you do the simple math of the 8.5% or 10.5% to 16%, that difference is that $6 per 100. So you're looking at $12, $15 difference for every night that you stay in Hayward.
Yeah. Okay. 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 Let me stop there, and then I will go to public comment. And let me start with is it Sajid Khatri? Yeah. Coming up. And then when you come up, hit the button and the mic turns red.
Good evening, Mayor and fellow council members. Maybe I can just kind of jump in and where you guys were asking some questions. I sent an email on Monday that included Smith Travel Research, which is a marketing, not a marketing, but it's an organization where we send all the hotel franchises, Hilton, Marriott, we all send data into. It's requirement by franchise. Our average rate right now in the comp set, our comp set would be the Fairfield, the Hampton, our Plus, La Quinta. It used to be at 2019 was $143 ADR. Right now it's at $101. I highlighted it for you in that email. At $101, and with our expenses up 30%, we're not making any money. There's a brand new hotel in Hayward just opened. It went right back to the lender. That guy couldn't even open his doors. So our business in 2019 versus now, and that was in my email as well, is 50% less than what we had in 2019. Obviously, if we make 50% less, there's less money coming in for taxes. So due to the pandemic, our business has not recovered yet well. You've seen, I'm sure read a lot of articles and seen what's happening in Oakland. There's hotels selling for 50% of value, some going back to the lenders. San Jose, there's a big issue. As far as the tax rate, I've been in it for about 35 years now. Our business has been here for 40 years. I worked in other cities as well. Nobody has excise tax. At 16%, we would be the highest tax rate ever. And I love Hayward. We've been doing business in Hayward for 40 years. We appreciate what Hayward's brought to us and we have brought to them. But we're a secondary market. We're not Silicon Valley. So they have 16%. They'll go stay in San Leandro or other places at 14%. Keep in mind, the people that stay in a hotel, they're gonna gas, they're gonna eat, they're gonna go shopping. We don't want them to go to another city to stay. We have to look at the bottom line. As you can see that the rates are down 50%, so the customer is very rate sensitive right now. There's a lot of inventory and there's a lot of pushback. You go up $5, you're gonna see it on your occupancy. And what's gonna happen if the occupancy goes down, what are we gonna do with our employees? A lot of our employees are called in, the housekeepers are called in if there's work. If there's no work, they stay home. So we gotta look at the big picture here. This is a big jump at what is it, 5.5%. That's a big jump. So I understand what we passed. I was part of that as well, and I think we need to kind of think about this and look at other cities. Again, there's no city this high. Oakland, San Francisco, and those are major markets. When we have conventions, we're getting pushback from that, all the way from San Francisco or Santa Clara. We're seeing pushback. So they're not coming to Hayward for a conference. They're going there. So, and then after the pandemic, as you know, people are working from home, that sort of thing. So just want to share that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Rajesh Khatri.
Hello, council members. I'm also a hotelier here in Hayward, and I think this is going to be a more burden on the consumer by having, like Sajid says, the business after 2019 hasn't improved hardly at all. In fact, it's going down. And other cities are charging much less. Will be the highest tax in Hayward, if you really look at it, because you're looking at 14% plus 2%, I think. So you're looking at 16% on a consumer. And I think that we are right now, the situation of the economy isn't that great. And particularly for the hospitality, if you look at the industry and if you look at the statistic on it, it hasn't improved at all. Even in San Francisco, we used to have a lot of convention, a lot of people that were overflow coming into our town, but that has stopped. And people are working from home. Corporate business has gone down. So I think that this is a wrong decision by the council to increase it at the level that it is. I mean, considering maybe 1 or 2% would be adequate, but not going 5% above what you're charging now. That is really not right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is, yes. Yeah. No, wait, hold on a second. It was, I think the name was pulled. Did you already delete it? No, it was, yeah, Mitesh, is that what you said?
Oh, yeah, Mitesh.
Yeah, Mitesh. Yeah, you turned it off. There you go.
Good
Yeah.
evening, everyone. So the two hoteliers already explained that there's a huge tax burden of a 5.5%. Since the Raiders left and the Oakland A's left, the revenue sunk. So, I mean, you lost a lot of revenue by just losing two teams. You don't have, City of Hayward does not have a famous type of tourism where you're going to have tourism coming into Hayward. Most of the customers would go towards like Santa Clara County or San Mateo County or San Francisco County. That's where the most tourism exists. Then we get all the overflow. There's customers that I spoke to at the hotel that they struggle for $1. If the 5.5 bump goes up, $5-10 is too much for them, and they struggle to even pay even like $5-10 they don't even have in their pocket. So they just, like, customers struggle, and it'll be a burden to them. And then customers will go to different cities, and you don't want them to do that. So then you lose your TOT revenue outgoing. So that'll be it.
Thank you. Okay, so I don't see any more public comment. Let me see if there's anybody online. There is nobody online. I would
Mayor?
like to close public comment, and then I'll come back up here to the dais. Councilmember Zermenio.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
just one last comment. As interim director of finance, and as we propose the budget for next year, an important note I think to make for this discussion, given where we're at, is that I budgeted 12.5% for next year. I did not budget the 14, knowing that we haven't had the discussion yet. So that's certainly something I think for full transparency for council to know. I think it also gives you an opportunity. I don't think it's staff's intent for the city of Hayward to stand out in any way when it comes to TOT. And so perhaps what you're under consideration for you is not to stray too far from the 12.5% projection given our deficit, at the same time not trying to stand out at 14, 15, 16%. So it's certainly under your discretion as council to have that discussion. Maybe the discussion is that you end up at 14, but inclusive of excise tax. So you are the same as other cities. So as shoppers look around, it's the same rate. While at the same time not, obviously, I would not advise keeping 8.5 for the revenue that we need to collect for next year.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I also want to appreciate Councilmember Bonilla. And right as you started talking, I remember that conversation. And I believe, and I think I misspoke. I spoke too quick. But yeah, I remember that conversation now. And I know we struggled over it a lot. And I appreciate the finance director, interim finance director, for making those comments. And I was, and I know Councilmember Cermeño is about to speak up, but before I call on him, what I was going to suggest is, do we have a timeline? Do we have a timeline for this?
There is no set timeline. We, however, as you know, we like to do things at July 1st fiscal year. We have enough notice and enough discussion to get there, but there is no timeline.
Of course, and we do have another Budget and Finance Committee meeting coming up in this month.
We do, and next week is our budget session for next year. Work session, sorry, we call them work sessions in Hayward.
So let me propose this, and if the council gives me this privilege of the chair, I'd like to let's kick this back to Budget and Finance, and because there were, I'd like to clarify and think through the phasing in issue. I'd like to perhaps talk about the comparative cities, whether or not whether we're talking with excise taxes with because I'm thinking about cities like San Leandro. I don't know what it is or not, but it just gives us an opportunity to sort of flush this out a little bit more and really sort of land on something precise and that we can all sort of come to a consensus to. I'll just put that out there and see, if I have any support of that. But and we can resolve this at the next Budget and Finance.
If you're making a motion on that, I'll second. But I guess yeah.
So I didn't want to preempt Councilmember Cermeño, but so I'll phrase that as a motion, and then we can bring this back, and I'll look at my colleague on the Budget and Finance. Yeah, Councilmember Syrup.
Thank you. I just want to understand from staff's perspective, because this is part of our budget process. Yeah. If we were to bring this back to Budget and Finance and then bring it back to the full council, would you have enough time to incorporate that change into our next year's fiscal year's budget?
We certainly could. I think it's a matter of then how much notice would you give to the hoteliers and the public?
Yeah. I see. So, okay, got it. Well, yeah, then I'm all right with that.
Yeah, and I also I certainly do want to give the hoteliers enough time. The conversation's not done, and and we certainly want to work with you in partnership with this. Yeah. So,
and Mayor, actually, what I was going to do is that I was going to suggest that we were not ready to move on with the staff's recommendation, because I want to know what other cities have an excise tax, and also want to know a colleague Bonilla's question about what does it actually cost? What are we doing? How are we going? And of course, the other one was a phased in. So I was not going to move. I was going to suggest that we table it for a week or two. Yeah. So thank you. Okay. And I'll third your motion.
Oh, I appreciate that. Okay, so it sounds like we're going to, Councilmember Goldstein and then Councilmember Andrews.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So I started to say earlier, the research that I did revealed something really interesting that was actually kind of unexpected for me, and that was the economists in San Francisco pointed out a couple of things that might be of interest to you. One of them is that they're at 14% TOT. They also have a 2.25% to 2.5% special district tax. Now, I didn't look into it to see if they also had, in addition to that, an excise tax. But, you know, they charge an awful lot for parking, and they charge an awful lot just for the privilege of taking a taxi or an Uber there. Not to mention the $50 fines if you don't pay the parking meter. And they say, even in consideration of all of that, those things have no impact on driving business to the hotels. What does are the events. So the sporting events, the Moscone Center activities, and so forth. And while we're not San Francisco, and I'm not trying to argue that we should have a direct comparison here, but please, just for your consideration, think about what the impact would be if we had more events here that people want to come to Hayward. And so I've been talking to a hotel promoter who's already booked the Mount Eden Performing Arts Center for the next 3 years. He's also looking at filling up our theater in the downtown with similar events. And if we continue on a roll like that, you know, this is going to be a non-issue. The hotel operators will be making money. People will be coming to Hayward and enjoying their time here and buying food and, you know, spending some time and getting to know what it's like in Hayward. And we can certainly promote sporting events. We've got Chabot College has an excellent baseball program there. Cal State has had soccer games, you know, from the Roots. If they just come down once or twice a year, that's going to fill some hotels potentially, right? And so we really just have to manage this from an economic development perspective and not be afraid of the tax thing. But for sure, we want to make sure that our hotel operators are making money. But the way to do that is to bring business here, bring the events here that people want to come and stay overnight and enjoy their time here in Hayward. Thank you.
Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Goldstein. I was going to say similar comments, and I just wanted to thank Mr. Mitesh for your comments. These things that I've been advocating for years, you're hearing it from the business owners. We have been pushing for more tourism and economic development, and we rely too much on other cities for activities. We can think regionally, we can work together regionally, but we have to be more self-sustaining, and people want attractions. They want to come to events. They want to see public art. They want to see beautiful shopping streets, and we need to cultivate that more in Hayward so we can be self-sustaining. Looking at all these teams that have left the Alameda County community, the Bay Area community, it is impacting Hayward, and we need to start thinking internally, what are we going to do to be an attraction for regionally, but think bigger. We need to continue to support our businesses by also continuing to support our residents, which are things like they've been asking for, which is events, public safety, public art, and shopping. So I think this is the time where we can start seriously talking about these things in a more sustainable, thinking about it from a sustainability perspective, not just nice to have. So thank you again for coming out tonight, and we look forward to supporting your hotels by bringing more activities within our community as well. Thanks.
Yeah, and also I agree, and with all the sentiments, and thank you, Councilmember Andrews. And I do just want to, you know, we are pausing this. We're gonna retool this and sort of think this through, or we're going to be more precise in what we do here. But I also just want to tell tell all of you that we will, you know, something is coming, and. But we're also looking at, you know, further ahead than just, you know, this year. We're looking at, you know, next year. And, you know, when we talk about big public events that are coming to the region, you know, I can think of 2 big major events that are going to be here next year. And so I want to make sure that we capture that and that we're all successful in there. Yes, absolutely. I have to, we're going to vote right now. I appreciate it. And so moved by Mayor Salinas, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Roach. And if there are no further questions or comments, Madam City Clerk. This is a motion to table and send to the budget. Yes, yes. Yes, this is a motion to table and go back to Budget and Finance Committee.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just a point, Mayor. You'll see in Dr. Alvarez's budget message that the assumption was 14%. We're obviously assuming that would pass.
Yeah.
However, that's a draft, and so depending on what the vote is, we'll adjust the message accordingly. So whether it's 12%, 14%, whatever it may be in the future, but there's a difference between a budget message and the staff recommendation tonight and council vote. So just to have
Has it already been printed?
point of clarification. No, it's a draft.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a draft and it's proposed, and that changes over time. So
Okay, perfect.
thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. We'll go ahead and try and see if this works.
The thing here says effective July 1 and finding, adopt a resolution adjusting the city's tax. Okay. Do we need to not worry about that language? Okay.
No, that's the default, but
Okay.
the motion was to
Motion's on the
send
table.
it to the council budget and finance
Thank you.
committee.
And here, hit refresh. Does there a refresh? Or go back. Go
We've
back.
got two not working.
Okay. Councilmember Goldstein?
There you go.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mayor?
And it passes unanimously, 7 ayes. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, moving on to our next item, which is council reports and announcements. Are there any council reports
We have
and
a
announcements? Seeing none, Councilmember Andrews.
Yes, so there is actually a 510 day on May 10th at Chabot College by West Coast Makers. Just wanted to highlight that just because I thought it was a great idea. 510 day, we're celebrating being in the 510. May 10th, 510. Got it. Okay. All right. So it's from 12 to 6, I believe, at Chabot College. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. If there are no other comments, I will move on to council referral. We have a council referral tonight. Council members, item number 14, City Council referral, reviewing voluntary expenditure and contribution limits, referral from council members Bonilla Jr., Syrup, and Zermeño. And I believe I will kick it off to one of you three, see who wants to
I believe
present.
there's a staff slide on this, and maybe, was staff planning on introducing this, or should I just take it from here? Okay, great. Would you mind going to the next slide? Great. Can we have that projected on our screens? Okay, it's on our screens now.
Oh, okay, perfect.
I don't want to turning around. First, I just want to thank my colleagues, Councilmember Bonilla and Zermeño, for bringing this question to the table. We've had a long meeting tonight. I don't want to get specific and hypothetical about numbers. I'm just asking my colleagues to support having the discussion sometime in the future. I appreciate staff's recommendation that we have this discussion in a month. My hope would be for us to maybe discuss this after the summer recess because we have quite a bit on our plate. So I am curious, if there's a reason why you'd like to front load it versus maybe wait till after we're done with the budget and back from summer recess to begin the conversation. Is there any significant preference there?
Thank you so much. It's a matter of timing in terms of being able to focus on the budget, but also give us ample time to do the work in advance for any additional work, in advance to do the work prior to finishing this fiscal year.
Understood. And from what I may have picked up on before, maybe the city clerk's office or the city attorney's office had done some prerequisite research. So my hope would be really to just help facilitate the conversation, not require too much more staff work out of what may have already been put together or collected. And so I'll keep my comments brief. I just want to give the why here. I know sometimes I can be critical of the city's processes, so I want to acknowledge the mayor and what we've done well as a city. Hayward has done good with campaign finance rules. We haven't been subject to major independent PACs pouring extraordinary funds into our political campaigns. We've done a good job around this, and I think it's something we should be proud of, that we emphasize the best representatives to represent the community in our elections. However, the landscape has changed. Our district populations are 1/6 the size of our at-large races. And I think that that change should be acknowledged and discussed. And my hope is that we can maintain that healthy campaign culture that we've had up until this point, a culture that prioritizes someone's connection to their community and not the amount of dollars raised. Districts are approximately 1/6 the size of our at-large voting populations. And even if we were to cut the maximum voluntary expenditure limit in half, most of our campaigns, which were at large and across the city, many of us up here would not reach that limit with the dollars that we raised for our campaigns to win these seats. So I do appreciate staff's recommendation and interest in engaging with this, my colleagues for bringing this idea forward, and I hope my council members would support me in just being willing to have that conversation and see if there's any adjustments we can make to keep our elections fair moving forward. And with that, I'll turn it over to either of my fellow referrers.
I have no additional comments. Thanks for your leadership on this, Councilmember Syrup.
My only comment is if it can be done after the recess, much better. You have more time and you can go slow. We have a couple of items on our plate until this July, so I have no problem with waiting until then. Okay.
I would be supportive of that
thank you.
too if we wanted to give ourselves some more time. That was my initial intent as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because I think your request was that it would be by the end of the calendar year, so I don't think we need to worry about the fiscal year on this item, right? Especially if, to Councilmember Cyrus' point, especially if there's already been some staff work done, we get past the budget and then we can take the time to do it. So I'm supportive of that.
Yeah. So I would be happy to move the item with the suggestion or the direction that we begin the conversation after the council recess.
Happy to second.
So moved by Councilmember Syrup, seconded by Councilmember Bonilla. I did have a response to this, and I think, historically, the city has been arguably one of the most progressive cities when it comes to campaign finance, and even in the era of smart, ethical campaign finance rules, we have still seen, observed, PACs, independent expenditures, and we're an elected body up here. Some of those independent expenditures have targeted us, and so there's that. Despite the great inroads that we have done, and despite the incremental, work that the incremental increasing of campaign finance amounts, we have still seen, IEs and other pooling and sort of corralling funds by independent groups to go after, or to campaign against a candidate or go after candidates. And either positive or negatively, I've seen it happen. Secondly, when I read this, I was, torn primarily because, we just had, my opinion about what we just went through with this districting is no secret. This whole districting process for the city of Hayward, it did not come from us, it did not come from the city, and it did not come from any one of us up here. It was this whole districting process came to us. It was an outsider, it was an attorney who has made it a cottage industry to go city by city by city and essentially threaten to sue cities if they don't go to districts. And so here we are, we're in districts. And what I was hoping that we do is let's give the districts, let's give this time to breathe. Let's go out and vote. Let's campaign. Let's do what the districts were intended or are supposed to do first, and then we can revisit this. I was hoping that we could let an election cycle go through, and then after we go through that cycle, then we can assess, everything from, financing to rules or whatever else we need to tinker. One of the things that the referral points out is that we have, there have been campaign maxes, right? We've had limits, and I don't think, while some candidates may have gotten close to those numbers, I don't know if any candidate has ever raised those numbers or raised those limits all the way. But I just think right now it's too early to start tinkering with financing and some of these other areas. I think we should go through a cycle first, and then let's see what happens, and then we can revisit this, because it just, and we're in the middle, we're not this year, but next year we're going to have another campaign, another election cycle, and I think the candidates who will be running, I think we owe it to them to let them go through a cycle so that we can see how it works. So I'll rest my comments there, and Councilmember Syra.
Thank you. I definitely respect your perspective on this. I think everything you've shared is a conversation that I want to have if this referral is to move forward. I'm happy to share examples in the future of cities that have districts of 2,000 people that spend over $100,000 because it's smaller and so much more concentrated in those races. I know that we just got districts, but there's a lot of examples of districts that have taken place across the state and what's happened financially there too. And I just didn't want to spend too much time bringing up all those numbers tonight. So my hope would be, let's have that discussion rather than making a hard and fast decision to close it down right now. So I think there's a lot that's worth sharing, but I just don't want to take up more time now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. So we have a motion to bring this item to a work session, and the work session would be sometime in the future. I don't know, after recess. Moved by Councilmember Syrup, seconded by Councilmember Bonilla. And if there are no further questions, there are no public comment.
Yes, Mayor, I was going to just announce that there's no
comment.
one to offer public comment.
Let me see. There's
Thank
no.
you.
I don't see any public comment. I don't have any public comment cards. Madam City Clerk, if you can see if we can.
Thank you, Mr.
Take
Mayor.
a vote.
I'm going to go ahead and start the voting. Okay. Councilmember Andrews? Thank you. Councilmember Bonilla?
Yes, I actually did something wrong with my iPad. The system is fine. It was a user error, but my vote's yes.
No worries. Thank you so much. Okay, Mayor, the vote is displayed.
It passes with 6 yeses and 1 no vote. Okay, moving on to adjournment. We don't have any adjournments, and next meeting will be, we have a special meeting on May 13th, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, meeting is adjourned.